Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are to see this video. This is the ScaleTrains.com Big Blow Union Pacific number 20 Museum Quality second run. I believe this number is one of the new runs that they have done compared to the previous runs. With the box, they haven't changed anything itself. It is still leather bound, same thing as the first run itself. Everything else is what you would expect for quality. I've already taken a look at it just to simply make sure it's all good, and it is. So let's go right on ahead and dive in and take a look at the train itself. So in the beginning, it started in the same thing with it before. You have this thick foam insert, and you have the special article magazine, almost you want to say, for the Big Blow itself. It has all the pictures in it, just as before, which include, let's see here, it even provides the differences in the locomotives themselves with the rivet counters and the museum quality itself. Like one of the examples here is that it has the rotating fan inside as the jet turbine spools up. And also, one of the nice things that they did carry over is they have the spec sheet of all the exploded parts diagrams, which include if they have different walkways and everything itself, plus the red and the blue dictating whether it's a museum quality or not, all the way down to the chassis itself. So very well detailed in that part. And then also same thing for the tender as well. It also does the same thing. And do note that all of 3 units do have decoders built into them as well. So let's get into the package itself. First thing, it comes in a leather-bound magnifying glass itself. So same thing as before, and is lit as well. Comes in with the museum pin as well, and comes in with some extra small pieces. Not too sure what they are for exactly. And first thing we'll do, we'll take a look at the 23C tender itself. Same kind of packaging as it was before. So it is very well done. It basically is a standard for all of the manufacturers now today. So here we go. And as for this model itself, the detail is very good. As you can see here, you do actually have chains that you can actually hook the tenders to. It is front and rear for the tenders itself, that you can do it through the trucks. So the detail is, again, extremely well done with ScaleTrains. So excellent job they have done. And one of the details I didn't actually see in the other one, which I can compare tonight, is it looks like it has a little checklist sight glass in it as well too. And I believe also the tenders, they don't have the roller bearing caps. I got to go check the other one, and we'll compare those out and see how that is. And of course, detail that goes in between as well. So you can see that. There we go. And of course, it also has a light on the rear as well that will light up accordingly. Next up is the B unit itself. This thing is mighty heavy. We'll actually break out the weight scale and see how it weighs. But with this, very, very heavy. We'll very carefully take it apart. The packaging, very well done again across the board. ScaleTrains, same thing as you would expect with an Athearn unit itself. I think Intermountain is going to be the same thing as well, just simply top-notch across the board. Very well done packaging itself. There's just a little hair there. For these models, specifically with the Big Blow, I find I have to hold it where the Union Pacific logo is and basically right where the number is itself. Just because everything's so fragile, I don't want to touch anything that could potentially get loose. So I will pick this up, move this forward, and then we'll go through, move this to the side. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to get a little bit closer sample here. All right, here we go. So this is the B unit. This is the unit that will house the jet turbine, as some will say. The detail with stanchions, ladders, steps, everything is extreme on point, all individually applied across the board. Extremely fragile everywhere. Itself, the doors do open, so I'll just go the James Wright way, and we'll just simply open up the door just a little bit. I've noticed with this run and my first one, they don't really want to open very well. Not sure why, but just leave them to be used very, very lightly. So, as you can see, detail is very good, minus the door that don't want to open, which doesn't open on the first run as well too, so continues that tradition a little bit. The only thing you can see is obviously the wiring. The B unit does have a motor in it as well, so that will be powered and controlled. Sound, everything is in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front details. So with the front details, they are very well on point itself. So with these spots here, there are the hoses that you can actually attach in, and then of course also you have other hoses that you can attach. And yes, they are smaller than the point of the stick as well too. Obviously air hose detail, MU cables, everything is right there and is on point. And here's the business end of this as well too. No hoses or links you have to do here, but again, air hoses all across the board. And it looks like actually this time we have a water line to attach, or drain valve, not too sure which one, no expert in it, but it actually is very well done still, again, to main ScaleTrains. So here's the top of the B unit. As you can see, full walkway all the way across, individually applied as well. Many layers to this also. Up front, we have the connectors that go between the A and the B unit with the holders for those as well too for that. Of course, with this, obviously intake exhaust area in here. What is different in here is that this part here, brace or whatever you want to say, is actually curved compared to the first run, which was not curved to the best of my understanding itself. Again, extremely well done model itself. And last but not least, let's take a look at the bottom. Now with the bottom here, traditional, the ScaleTrains logo itself, and has these little metal clips. That is to actually do the brake squeal. Last but not least, a unit. Again, same packaging up front. So we'll go ahead, take this out. Comes with the spare lines itself for the connections between the A and the B unit, which they are already applied for you. But get your master's degree and connecting these together. They will not be easy. So first things first, pop the top here. Really do like how with ScaleTrains, they have these protectors, felt protectors. Even though you already have the plastic covering on these, you have that felt to give it just a little extra press of protection in there. So we'll go through, we'll pull off the unit. And again, with the unit, still same old. We got the clips on here. They do pop off. And also on here, you have the metal clips that will do the brake squeal and hitting the frog and everything as well too. As you can see here, again, detail is very well on point. And you got all your vents, the horn, exhaust for the auxiliary Cummins unit itself. More vents, more additional grab irons for where they could climb up on top. Looks like we got a sand fill hatch, I think, up here. No. All right, let's take a look here at the side view. As before, you can see right through the body itself, clear through the other side, just as prototypical. There is a drive shaft, but it is very much far down below, so it cannot be seen. Of course, the detail for the ladders, everything is just so extremely on point itself. It is so well done. Shout out to ScaleTrains again, just keeping it going. It seems that detail wise they kept it right as it was before, so what you expect from ScaleTrains is what you're going to get. Now with the front, detail again is just significantly on point itself. You have lit number board, classification lights, headlight, and the interior will light up. There are seats inside, so if you wanted to tear this apart, you could go through and actually put in figurines. This is a $800 product. That's your call. I may just say, go have ScaleTrains do it for you. They might actually take care of that. And with the other side, the details are on point as well, with the doors that still do open as well. So that is still there. I believe this one does not. Again, just amazing work. And let's take a look at the rear. Again, the light does actually work on these if you separated them out, so you can actually see them without lighting up while they're moving. You can easily enable that feature. Obviously, these are the hoses we talked about earlier. One of them fell out, but these are ridiculously easy to put in. It's just these smaller hoses. Take your sweet time and have a pair of diamond tweezers is all what I can say is a good idea. The only thing I can think of as a difference is that the couplers are jet black compared to the more of a rusty, well-used coupler. I will be breaking out the original one first run to see how that turns out as well. And of course the air hose is up top also, so those are tucked in very nicely. So we'll go through and let that be. Let's go ahead and take a look at front coupler height. Perfect. Let's take a look at the B unit front. Perfect. Let's take a look at the rear of the B unit. Perfect. All right, let's go check out, see how much it weighs here. And I just have a towel zeroed out anyway. 25.5 ounces. That is heavy for a first unit. Let's go ahead and see how the B unit is. .1 ounces. And let's go ahead, we'll weigh the tender. 5.8 ounces. So we're getting close to nearly just 50 ounces of just locomotive itself. That's amazing and just so heavy. So function 0 headlight, again LEDs just like they were before. Function 1 is the bell. Function 2 is the horn. And with NCE and with any other systems, when you press the number 2 button, it will actually hold. And F3 is turbine on the B unit. We'll start that up in a little bit. F4, dynamic brake. F5 is nighttime mode, where you have the lights on the ground so the engineers can actually see where they are moving or not. F6 is classification lights, so it starts off white, red, and then green, and then off, and then you can cycle through again. F7 is the dimmer for the light itself. F8 is Hostler motor on a unit. You might have not seen it, is the interior in the cab lit up and then turned off. That is normal for this. F9, couple crank. F10 is rear headlight. F11 is sanding valve. And F12 is short air let off. Let's go take a look to see how this looks at night. Okay, so now it's time for the turbine. This is probably going to be pretty loud. Sound isn't too bad. This is completely from the factory, has not been turned up or anything at all. But you can see the fan spinning inside. So, alright, 8,000 horsepower now. We'll go ahead and shut her down. Alright, let's get this thing on the move. We'll start off speed step 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. We'll go reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you may hear some noise, feedback, and a little gear whine. This is a brand new locomotive, so I expect something like this to happen, so I'm not very worried about this at all. Well, the next thing we'll do is we're going to go through and we're going to get that turbine fired up. Alright, so I have almost all the lights out, so you could probably vaguely pick up on the locomotive itself. We'll go through, we'll turn on the headlights, and then we will go through and turn on the class lights. Let's make it a red special tonight. Itself, let's go ahead and let's activate night mode itself. And there you go, lights lit up in the rear. And as you can see from the bridge itself, there is light there so the engineer can actually see. And let's go ahead and start her up. And also here, the number boards have lit up as well. So this is unit number 20, X, experimental 20. So you can see this pretty well here at night. And we'll go ahead and take a look and see how the speed steps are. Detail with this unit is amazing. Again, very well worth it. Yes, the price is $800 US. ScaleTrains still has these available to purchase right on their website, and delivery time was a few days. ScaleTrains, big blow, museum quality, second run, just as good as the first run. Detail just all over perfect, in all honesty. Very well done. If you can do it, get one of them. You're not going to be disappointed at all. If I could give this a rating, I give this an absolute must buy for any fan of model railroading. and of course Union Pacific as well. That concludes my review.